And have you guys ever met anybody famous or had somebody famous call
Oh yeah,
you
we
and
just
say,
had a Backstreet Boy, or no, a member of NSYNC.
Yeah, JC. Yeah, one of them was at a wedding that we did recently.
Okay.
And then
Mike Tyson was at.
I was gonna say Mike Tyson was at
Oh,
an
wow.
event that we did as well.
Dino, what are you doing? Get out of my seat.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of On the Move with Matt. Today I'm here with Ben Savory, who is the owner of Summit Events, and Chris Funkhouser, who is their chief operating manager. Did I get
Sure,
that right?
that works.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And he's also a DJ, so thanks for coming on today, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So can you kind of tell us a little bit about what is Summit Events?
Yeah, for sure. So Summit Events Co. is a premier professional party and entertainment provider in the Shenandoah Valley, Northern Virginia, DC market. What we do is we provide your DJs, your photo booths, and other sorts of entertainment and lighting to create a reliable and enjoyable event. We believe that better parties make a better world. We think that better weddings make better communities, that better birthday parties make better neighbors. And we are just on a mission for our neighbors, our friends, our community to have a professional entertainment option that rivals what we do in DC, and the folks that live here and work there and are, get to see those high level productions, those weddings, those parties. We wanted people out here to have that same option. And so we just really believe that through better parties, we can make a better world and have better lives.
And how did you get into this? Did you just wake up one day and say, I want to be a DJ? Have you always been an entrepreneur?
So, yeah, I like to joke all the time. I never set out to become a DJ, but I did always want to be my own boss. Like, I wanted to run a company. When I was 5, my grandma would make these bean bags, and I would put them in this little plastic briefcase, and I would walk door to door, and I would make my poor neighbors buy them from me. And then after that, I would sell them for like a quarter. I took all those quarters to the grocery store and bought a bunch of those stickers that out of the quarter machines that used to be there in the 90s.
Right.
Traded those in for, after I sold those, bought gum, then sold gum at school, and then got suspended. And so it was always something.
Right.
And but as far as DJing, no, I used to work at summer camps and would be the sound guy. When I was growing up, my cousin would run sound at church, and I thought he was the coolest thing ever, and so I wanted to hang out with him. He was 16 and had his own Mustang, and I was like 7 or 8 years old, and he would pick me up at like 7 in the morning on Sundays, and he taught me how to run a soundboard. And so in college and theater and in summer camps, I was running the soundboards and mics and picking music, and as I was graduating from grad school, one of my friends was like, hey, can you play the music at my wedding? And I was like, yeah, sure, that's easy. And then the next job I had just happened to have speakers in inventory, and other friends were getting married, and I was like, hey, I just did this other guy's wedding. I could probably do yours. Just, if you want me to, and I would say, I'm not a DJ, but I'll play your songs and I'll introduce you. And then it just kept going, and I was like, I should probably figure out how to DJ at a certain point. And having 6 weddings a year turned into 12, turned into 20, turned into 40, and now this year we have 150 weddings booked so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we did that many last year total. So we might hit 175 or so. We'll see. So it's just continued to grow, and we have been able to. We like to say it's amazing what rooms we'll find ourselves in. So we've gotten to be in some really cool rooms with some really great folks, and was just talking about it this Saturday. I had a wedding. It was like in Baltimore, which is a little far for us, but I've gone to California, I've gone to Chicago, I've gone to Dallas to DJ, but was just like, how cool is it that this couple from Baltimore chose us to be a part of the best day of their life so far. And so it is a unique experience that we get to be the best part of, be a part of the best day of people's lives every weekend.
Right.
But it was not something we set out for, but I'm really glad that we're here now.
And do you find it hard? Like, I'm sure when you got into it, you don't know how to use the equipment. You said the soundboard. but has that evolved over time, like learning to use all the equipment and the lights and everything?
Yeah, and like there's just so many different environments that sound and light exists in. What we take to a wedding has to be mobile. We have to be able to bring it with us and take it home after. And so it's different than what you would install in a theater or like a high school auditorium. And it's different from what you would have at a concert. And so that was something I definitely had to learn. But basic mechanics were still the same as still, XLR cables, aux cords, and things like that. But for Chris, I'd like to maybe ask you, Chris, I'll let you speak to it, but Chris made glasses for years and learned how to become a DJ much later.
Yeah. The joke is I'm the guy that decided to become a professional DJ in my 40s. So and it's been a fun ride for sure. And that was kind of one of the interesting parts. Going back to it, I was always an audio guy. Always loved music. And on my own appreciated the audio and technical side of it. Right. But seeing it applied in all those different ways was also a little bit of a hill to climb. Took me a couple of events to really get it under my belt, but now we've taken that knowledge that we got together and we've really expanded that into corporate space and other applications for the equipment that we use rather than strictly using it for our parties. We found a lot of other uses for them that have really opened us up to the community and different things that we can do.
And do you guys ask like everybody that hires you, hey, what kind of music do you want to play? Or do they give you like a specific list? I want all these songs. How does that work?
Yeah, you want to take that one?
So we definitely do. Yeah, we actually use an app called Vibo. They have a website, they have a mobile application, and it allows our customers and our clients to pick the songs that they want played throughout the course of the day, from ceremony to open dancing down to do not play songs and things of that nature. It also works the same though for corporate events. Last year the Museum of the Shenandoah Valley, the Shenandoah Valley Discovery Museum had a gala, and the stars were the theme. So they sent me a playlist of themes that were under the stars themed kind of music. To kind of help curate what they were going for that night.
And are you guys mainly like word of mouth now, or where are you getting your clients from?
Yeah, so we do generate a strong online presence, and we get Instagram bookings, and we get people who reach out through our website daily. Mm-hmm. But one of our, deepest held prides of our company, anyways, that we're at least 80% referral based. And so what we have done over the years is cultivate successful events with other vendors. And so we are not the only one bringing an event to fruition. There's wedding planners, there's event coordinators, there are the caterers and the photographers and everybody in between. And being able to work with those folks again and again just is like any other job, where when you build rapport and you build experience, you do better with your team or the cohort that you work with. And so those relationships also translate in the wedding industry. So when you are trusting one vendor, knowing who they trust often, builds even more trust for a couple. And so we see through that cultivation and by delivering on weddings over and over and over again successfully, planners trust in us and they want that confidence when their clients are booking. And the venues that work with us and we're on their preferred lists, they know we're going to respect the space and we know where the power is and like all those little things. We don't have to come do a walkthrough, and they know that we're going to do a good job. And so through that, we get, I'd say 80% of our weddings through wedding planners and venues and photographers, people who are telling their clients, hey, just go ahead and use these guys, or at least talk to these guys and see if they're a good fit for you. Because we want to make sure we are the right fit for you. But it's been a really, really, and then we spend more time with those people instead of out fishing for new leads and new couples who, yes, we're going to do a great job with your wedding, but it's nice when we're also in the background building relationships with those other vendors.
Right. And the majority of your business is probably weddings and stuff like that, but you're doing other events as well?
Yeah, so it's it kind of depends on just how you look at it on the numbers. So we, like I said, last year we did 154 total weddings, and we have 150 or so far this year. However, we did another 400 non-wedding events with a DJ or a photo booth, or another one of our services like the Aero Chief Retro Camper or Bistro Lighting, or Up Lighting. And in addition to that, we did another about 100 restaurant events. And they range from just a DJ night at the Monument to Taylor Swift bingo at Verbrisa next Wednesday. Little shout out. And to I got to DJ the Army Navy football tailgate party at Northwest Field, so our stadium. So we really do find ourselves in some unique situations. But from weddings, they would say that usually ends up being our most formal setting for our company. Of course, our corporate events are very professional, but when we are wearing tuxedos, it's usually at the galas or some formal DC weddings. Right. And that comes with a higher amount of preparedness, of pressure, of excellence required. And so we do charge a significant amount more for weddings. And so we end up seeing about half of our portfolio is weddings,
right?
Even though they're only a third
right.
of the total event count. And then we get about another half from birthday parties, corporate events,
right.
luncheons, lunch and learns, little pop-up presentations.
Yeah. And have you guys ever met anybody famous or had somebody famous call
Oh, yeah,
you
we
and
just
say,
had a Backstreet Boy, or no, a member of NSYNC.
Yeah, JC. Yeah, one of them was at a wedding that we did recently.
Okay.
And then
Mike Tyson was at.
I was going to say Mike Tyson was at an event that we did as well.
I was at the Love Gala at the Four Seasons in DC, sitting next to the vice president of Pepsi International. Not particularly a celebrity in some forms, but also on the other side was a three-degree award-winning economist from China who was teaching at Georgetown. So we do find ourselves in some wild places with some really interesting folks. But we've met, I think I've been impressed by our specialty vendors that will sometimes, like live painters who are doing something, or a really unique musician on a rooftop in DC. Those can be just as surprising and impressive.
Yeah, like he was saying, some of those, larger weddings that are, tend to be more of like a cultural experience than necessarily just a wedding. Yeah. Have these amazing performers, and sometimes meeting them and seeing the things that they can do is just as impressive as being a celebrity.
Right. Yeah, we had a photo booth at a wedding where a previous Phantom of the Opera sang for the first dance.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's just wild.
And when famous people are there, do you like introduce yourself and talk to them, or you just play it cool? You don't want to like fanboy or anything?
A lot of the time when there are dignitaries, there are rules around when and where you're allowed to speak or interact with them. Most of the time we just end up introducing them if it's a part of the lineup, or if they're the keynote speaker and we're facilitating or hosting or DJing. And so a lot of the time we get to introduce them, we might get to meet them. In college, my job was with the IATSE union, and so like we did the stage load in and load outs for concert series, and that one I did get to meet a few folks. I got to meet Frankie Valli once, and I got to meet several bands like Anne Berlin and Brand New, and like the tour of Avenue Q. Got to meet the cast of them, and so like so that was, I think I actually met more celebrities just being a load-in guy.
Oh wow, yeah. And do you guys have any stories that you could share that someone's came up to you and said, hey, like you made this wedding what it is? Like the DJ kind of makes or breaks the wedding. So do you have any success stories?
So, sorry, I was going to say so many, but I don't want to sound too arrogant. But it's just such a highlight in their life that and it's their best friends. They've been looking for it for forever. Most of them have been drinking. Like it's kind of like a comedian closing at a bar, right? Like they're warmed up. They want to have a good time. Like it's not a hard sell, but at the same time, having a DJ who knows what they're doing, can do both parts. They can do both the music and the hosting. And the emceeing is really important. But for me, the one that always stands out was really early on. I was doing a wedding at Riverside on the Potomac out in near Leesburg, and we had a great night. We executed well, had a great dance party, and I honestly I wasn't even like that good at DJing yet. It was really early on, and the mom of the bride came up to me at the end and was crying, and was like, "Thank you so much. We had such a great time. It was a beautiful night." And I was like, "Yeah, you had a great party, wonderful guests. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of it." And she's like, "You just don't understand how much this means to us. We went all out. Tomorrow, my daughter, the bride, starts chemo."
Oh, wow.
And we just found out last week that her dad has a terminal illness, and it's just been like, this meant so much. And like, I don't remember what I said, and I don't know what you should say to something like that, other, know. But I just remember driving home that night and being like, at this point, I think I'd really thought about like, oh, this is like the way I can make a career. I can make my ends meet. I can supply, provide for my family. Like, this is a really cool job if I really lean into this. And then on that drive home, it kind of transitioned to like, this is not just a gig. Like, you just never know how important this is to somebody. And some people, their wedding might just be something it's just something on their to-do list. It's just a fun thing. They're not that vested in it. But for some people, it is the ultimate opportunity for them to celebrate life and to be with the people that have made them who they are, and to spend a brief moment of time with all of their favorite people in a way that will probably be impossible to ever gather again. And going into weddings with that perspective, and that it's just such a privilege to be a part of the best day of someone's life.
Right.
And we don't mess that up.
Right.
We
You don't
that
take
very
it lightly.
seriously.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by, me. If you're looking at buying or selling in Virginia or West Virginia, I'm Matt Kilmer with eXp Realty, ready to help you with all your real estate needs. Whether it's finding the perfect home or selling your current one, I've got you covered. Reach out to me below and let's make a move. All right, back to the good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a lot of pressure for you guys too, but you're probably getting better and better at it as the years go on. It's kind of like, we're here and we're either going to make this the best day or not the worst day, but
we could. We have that power.
We definitely have that ability.
Yeah.
And that is nothing I've never wielded. But I mean, what about for you to go from, I built slowly. You went from 0 to 40 weddings in a year.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I will say, I think one of our strengths and one of the reasons that we've been able to build that referral base and the thing is the professional side of DJing that we do bring to it. Like you said, I feel like anybody can play music, and I just don't. The professional side, being able to make announcements, making sure that the day is going as it's supposed to. Right. We're not off goofing off somewhere in the music is, silent and things of that nature. Yeah. But really ramping up, and it kind of goes with the question that you asked. There was a wedding that I did last year. Most weddings, to be honest, I still almost have a panic attack that morning just because I want it to go well. Like you said, I feel like I can really make or break. This could be the best. Hopefully, this is the best day of this person's life or these people's lives. So it was an extremely large wedding, about 300 people, private estate, and the gentleman's the bride's father, very important guy, CEO of a large company, had aided people in Ukraine when all of that was going on, and here I am DJing this wedding. I think it was probably my 26th wedding. There was a couple of reasons it was one of my favorites. One, I got to work with our band. So we do offer packages that have live musicians. Okay. And we work with some extremely talented musicians. Singers, guitar players, violinists, cellists, pretty much anything that you want. We work with a great stable of musicians. So I got to work with our band and DJ in combo with a live band, which was just super fun, super cool. We absolutely killed it. They had the time of their lives. I DJ'd until like 2 a.m. that night, which was super late for a wedding. But it was one of those that helped with my imposter syndrome.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
like you
Yeah.
get into this thing and you do a good job and you're like, am I doing a good job though? Right. You
Right.
always second guess yourself and things of that nature. But having a couple of those weddings where like I feel like I absolutely destroyed it, you know, really helps to boost that and kind of get that away for me.
And it's probably good to kind of have that healthy pressure. Like you don't want to just go in there, you know, too confident and relaxed. You want to kind of keep the pressure on yourself so you perform better.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we do take it seriously. Like I said, that's the professional side of it. You know,
Right.
We understand that, you know, yes, you maybe are just selecting a song to walk down, but at the end of the day, it ties into your whole vision, not just not just a song. You know,
Right,
it means a lot more than that to the people there.
Right. And do you guys ever have weddings where like nobody's coming on the dance floor and you have to kind of corral them in?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know that's one of so I take a lot of our sales calls and our leads and things of that nature, like we were discussing earlier. And you know that's one of the things I think is very important to talk about to potential clients is, you know, you're going to know your guests and you know what vibe you're going for.
Right,
if you're
yeah.
going for that rager of a party, we are going to do everything we can to get
Right.
people on the floor, keep them on the floor, and have a good night going.
Right, yeah.
But you also know your crowd, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not DJing, I'm most likely not dancing. But when I'm DJing, it's a whole different thing, right?
Right, yeah.
So I understand the people that don't find themselves rushing out to the dance floor.
Yeah.
So we also try to cater to everybody, and that's why vibe is an important thing for me to ask to people, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you are going for that party, we can go for it. If you're going for that chill vibe or you want it to be a space that people can hang out and maybe do some dancing, we can also customize it to that.
Right,
I
yeah.
always tell people it's not my DJ show. While I want it to be hype and everybody to be dancing, it's not our DJ show, it's your wedding. And
Right.
at the end of the day, we try to make sure that we match
Yeah.
your vision.
Right.
And I like to tell couples all the time that it's just like anything else in life. We can do great things if we're prepared well. And like, how are you setting yourself up for success? So if your vision is to have an awesome dance party, then I can give you 3 really easy ways to help communicate that to your guests.
Right.
1, put the DJ near the dance floor. So
Yeah.
many weddings, the DJ is like off in the corner,
Right.
you know, and they have to put their speakers right up against one table, but people across the room have to be able to hear.
Right, yeah.
So when we're central and we're on the dance floor, that helps communicate to your guests that dancing is going to be important.
Yep.
And it puts us in the best spot to deliver where the sound's not having to carry as far, and the lights can be all right there. The second thing is your friends are going to follow you. If
Right.
you're on the dance floor, they're going to be on the dance floor.
That's a huge
and
one.
if
Yeah.
you don't have to be on there the whole night, but just know that like you're communicating what is important in your investment tonight by where you're spending your time. So if you've rented some wonderful furniture, or you got an ice cream truck to come visit, and the bride goes to ice cream truck, everybody's going to the ice cream truck. Everybody's going to go sit down and ask her how she's doing and spend time with her. If she's at the photo booth, they're at the photo booth. So your friends are going to follow you. So if you want a great dance party, be dancing.
Right.
And then third is just how do we start the dance floor? And we've all seen it in the movies, like, and now the dance floor is open. Like, we try to avoid that at all costs. And we have a few things that we bake into the app for clients to consider for opening their dance floor. And we are specific. Like, we don't just ask what song you want to walk down the aisle to. We ask what version, what time do you want the song to start, what time do you want the song to fade out. Like, we ask we help you think through the flow. And so flow is so important. And so as we are looking at the end of the night, we want to build momentum and have end on a high note. And so some folks think, well, we'll open the dance floor and then in 30 minutes we'll cut the cake, and then we'll open the dance floor and then 30 minutes we'll toss a bouquet, and then we end up cutting off and really interrupting that momentum. So we like to tell people, do all of your traditions before the dance party begins.
Right.
So if you're going to do any of that, let's do like toasts, parent dances, tosses, cutting the cake. Let's just kind of, if we stop, let's stop once and do most of it all before, so that we open the dance floor and keep going. How do we open the dance floor? We can do my favorite, which is to invite everybody up to an all couples dance.
Right.
So it's not a game. There's no winners. It's, hey, just grab your +1, your spouse, the pretty bridesmaid from across the room that you saw at the ceremony, and make your way to the dance floor for an all couples dance with the newlyweds. And everybody breaks the seal. They get out there early. They, And then when the song's over, we drop it into dance music, fade the lights, turn on the dance lights, and most people just stay.
Right,
And
yeah.
so we don't turn on the dance lights during the all couples dance a lot of the time too, so that you get these nice, elegant pictures of a full
Yeah.
dance floor, everybody dancing somewhat formally, and then you get a full crowd shot. As soon as the song switched, photographers got their box checked early, and
Right.
you had a full dance floor. You want to talk about the ballroom blitz?
Yeah. Photographers hate it, so I don't try to suggest it too often. But it is an interesting game that you can play. And basically, the bride and groom runs around the reception to each table to
Right.
get a group photo with the people at the table during one song. Usually, ballroom blitz suffices. It's
Yeah.
kind of fun. Like I said,
And then they end on the dance floor, all at the end of the
floor.
song.
Everybody
Right.
comes around and they all are out
Right.
there together. It's all hype. Usually by the last table, everyone is trying to one up. And so it's a
Right.
good way to kind of build that energy to carry it out
Yeah.
onto the floor.
And then lastly, a cleaner, quicker approach is to do an all-guest photo where you just invite all the guests to the dance floor. You put the photographer on a chair. They try their best to get a great photo, but then you just turn the lights off and start the music,
Right. Yeah.
and everybody's already there.
Yep.
So, but we'll do whatever a couple wants, but
Yeah.
we kind of give them those suggestions as different ways of starting strong, and then we can end strong. And then we have to do a lot less of trying to get people on the dance floor. If we start strong, we'll usually stay strong the whole
Right.
night.
And you guys have like the 360 photo machine. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
and-
we have two 360 photo booth, video booth experience, which is really fun.
Yeah.
We have seen that grow in popularity more than I expected this year, and seeing it at a lot of proms, corporate events, things like that. They're fun. You get to pick a song and do all the graphics.
And do you have like different crews that kind of roll together? Like how many DJs do you have?
That is an ever-changing question. We just hired 2 new guys. We could deploy 14 DJs on a single Saturday and
Wow.
do 14 total weddings if the stars are aligned perfectly and everybody's available. I would say during the busy season, we average 5 a Saturday, and the peaks are, can be higher than that. But we do have a pretty robust photo booth team, so they all share the load. For years, it's been 1 or 2 folks like Deja who will do upwards of 80 photo booth events a year, and then
wow.
we've done 200 last year was our total. So we deployed 200 photo booth experiences between the traditional photo booth, the 360 booth, and our Aero Chief Camper photo booth. How many would you say photo booth operators we have? 10?
I was going to say 10.
Again, we've got 3 that we're potentially onboarding right now. So all in all, we ranged of having a affiliate team of 35 to 40 people.
Oh well. And you find it challenging to keep up with the music, like the latest and greatest music? I'm sure you have to be on top of that.
Yes and no.
I was going to say yes and no. As DJs, we're music people, so we
Yeah.
listen to music anyway, right?
Right,
So,
yeah.
It's not necessarily that hard. Some of the more niche music and another popular trend is the TikTok songs. That sometimes that can be tricky to keep
Right.
up with depending on what song it is.
Yeah,
but
because by the time your wedding rolls around, it might be out of vogue, and
yes,
Yeah.
most people might only know the 15 seconds. And so
Exactly.
you've got to know how to get in and
Yeah.
out of it quickly on the turntable.
I know. Kind of as you get older, like you're still listening to the music you listened to in high school, college. You think that's the best music. And then you'll hear like a new pop song on XM radio and you're like, what is this? This is terrible.
I like to think that I thought that always. That whenever I heard something trashy, I thought it was trash. No, I think I still like a lot of new stuff. And it's interesting too, just because songs still take a while to build nostalgia,
Yeah.
to make an impression. Like songs don't fall out as quickly most of the time as like other fads, because they do take a while to build up meaning and connection.
Right.
And so when we're doing weddings, we are playing mass appeal songs. And so we like to say all the time that we like to play music people know the way they know it, and focus on transitions and how we get from one song to another and make the night feel like one long song.
Right.
And taking your guests through a multi-hour dance party. Most people don't go out and dance for 3.5 hours.
Right.
So we can't jump for the whole time. So we do
Yeah.
want to guide them through some ups and downs, but over time we want to end on a high note. Those songs, at a wedding, we're typically playing probably 5 or less songs from the last few years at a
wow.
wedding. We
Yeah.
are starting with Motown or so and kind of moving through time to today. There's classics we save for the end of the night, and there's new songs we drop early so that they don't think we're only 70s or 80s music. But we try. There's so many great opportunities from each of the decades that resonate with the different members of your wedding from the different generations, that it's kind of a tour de force of all time. Now, we do curate down to what you guys have specified in the app is what your must plays are, and we ask for songs that mean something to you and your family or to a team you were on. Like
Right.
if you went to Penn State, we need to play Ken Craft later. There are. If you all went to Tech, we need to play Enter Sandman at some point. Like we want to do that, and we want to know. So we ask sometimes, where did you go to college and things like that. But my favorite one has been I've been playing Mr. Brightside since my first wedding in 2012. And it has become such a standard. It is, unfortunately, I think my generations don't stop believing. And so I think what I'm saying is
I don't know if it's that good.
I didn't say it was that good, but no, it's funny to see what songs were just a popular song at one time
Right.
to having evolved to become something you expect to hear at a wedding.
Right.
Like it is now probably our number one most requested song. And it's not even necessary. I will totally play it. But now it even has like a Michigan State Stadium song or something like that. And so like it has like evolved and grown and now has identity attached to it. And so it's fun to see those songs having done this now for a little while
Right.
versus songs that just disappear.
What do you think your top dance song is that gets like the most people on the floor, gets the energy going? Is it hard to narrow it down?
Honestly, kind of talking what we were talking about, a lot of it really is going to depend on your crowd, right? So
Right.
like that's
I hate to say it, but yeah.
it's like the term DJ, I feel like, is a very broad term for a lot of different people as to what we do. So, you have your club guys and your bar guys that do one thing. You have your wedding guys that do another thing. You have your EDM guy, so there are different and, part of what makes us, I think, work very well and what we really focus on is being able to curate it to your event, right? And read the room.
Right, yeah.
That's a big part of it. Like he said, at a wedding, I like when I'm talking to a couple, I say it's almost like generational DJing, right?
Right.
I'm going to start back so that way the older crowd feels included, feels part of everything, gets some of their dancing out, and then you kind of move up and, like you said, amp up the energy as the night goes.
Right.
So, I mean, there are always songs that will work. Line dances are popular. You kind of love them or hate them, though, right?
Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, I had like no line dance on Saturday. Like they were like none. It's like,
Yes.
okay. And those, I like to say too, like if you've got a DJ that's playing 2-3 line dances back to back to back, like that's not a good sign, but they're a tool in our toolbox.
Right.
Like if we do see, like we've played a lot of popular songs, but people aren't moving, they might need one with some directions and just want that confidence. Or some people just like, you might have heard it 100 times. Most people go to 1 or 2 parties a year.
Right.
They haven't heard it since last summer. They want to get out and do the wobble. Like it's just one of those things that if your crowd and we want to cater to it. And there was a time in my life I would have said, Whitney Houston, I want to dance with somebody, is a foolproof dance song to drop. And then I did one wedding last summer, and I played Whitney Houston, Don't Stop Believing, and the entire dance floor left, and they went to do other things.
That's wild.
And I was like, if this was my first wedding, I might not have ever done this again.
It was brutal.
Right, yeah.
It was,
honest.
you got to be there.
I was there.
You got to be there. And it was like,
So you just can't take it personally.
this is like, you can't. You get to a point where you've done enough good weddings, just like any other job or career. You've done enough good lessons as a teacher. You've sold enough houses as a realtor. You know when you're doing your job and you're doing it well.
Right.
And you have gotten the best out of these people that you're going to get out of them.
Right, yeah.
And some people do not want to dance. And if you've scheduled your wedding for 3 p.m. in July and it's outdoors, and so the sun is up for the entire dance party, don't expect people to dance hard for 4 hours.
Right, yeah.
They're going to be hot and sweaty and exhausted.
Right.
So environment matters. So there's some things we can control, And we've got some tools in our toolkit and of experience and that all of our DJs know. But at the end of the day, you know, we're not going to go out there and pull people up and dance.
Right.
Abby will take them on a conga line.
Yeah. Yes, she will.
But I have never had to either. There have been
Right.
one or two times where I think the wedding went too long, and they were happy, but they were done dancing,
Right.
and we just switched the vibe. We didn't try to force them into
Yeah.
dancing harder.
So, what if they hire you till 11 p.m. and the dance floor is raging? Can you just continue on and they pay extra, or how does that work?
As long as it's okay with the venue
Yeah.
and whatever other situation they have going on. So a lot of the time we see that at like a private property or at a place where they had booked it later, but we're ending at 10 or something like that. But a lot of the time it adds so much cost, more than just our fee.
Yeah.
If they've got to pay catering to stay or the venue charges for
Right.
extra hours. So yeah, extra hours you want to plan for in advance most of the time. We're happy to do it, but
Right.
we do. It's like buying a house. There's closing costs if you want to extend.
Right, exactly. I feel like I've been to a lot of weddings where it's like last song is here before you know it, and everyone's just like, "Oh man, like I want to stay, I want to dance."
I would much rather leave them wanting more.
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
say that's a sign of a good wedding. If
Right.
they are not ready for it to end, then everybody's having a good time.
Right. Yeah. There's usually some after party. You go somewhere else. I feel like.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
And that it really depends on the crowd. You know, some of them are amped to get to the after party. Some of
Right.
them are like, we've got to get. It's
time for bed.
Some people, and a lot of times, your hardest dancing crowds will tend to peter out. Sometimes they won't be the after party because they have danced for 3 hours straight.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I've had a 5-hour dance party a few times. There was a summer where it was like every wedding was 4 hours of dancing, and you really build up your chops. That's a lot of music.
Right,
Like a lot of DJs work really, really hard to craft a 45 to 60-minute set.
Yeah.
Open format DJing, where we're playing songs or remixes, or we've come with a library of music and we're reading the room and we're open to whatever's coming, is a different challenge.
Right.
But 4 hours can be a test to try to keep people engaged that long without a different DJ coming on set.
Right. Yeah.
At like a concert or a festival where they're playing a content of music they're already fans of.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're playing other people's music, but you still got to guess if they're even going to like it.
Right,
Versus
exactly.
when they've already paid to come see you,
Yeah.
Yes.
you're delivering to a crowd that they know what they're coming for and they're going to be happy to see it.
Right.
So that is something I think at a certain point on our team, like we can give you all the tools and
Right.
the playlists and we teach each other transitions, we make each other better, but you either at a certain point you have it or you don't.
Right.
The ability to read a room
Yeah.
and to say, this isn't working, man. Like move
Right.
on.
Yeah.
Like get out of this song.
So what's your hiring process like? How do you figure this out?
So we actually do a very extensive shadow program. So for DJs, they shadow a total of
Yeah.
10 weddings with
Okay.
one of our full-time staff who does
Right. Yeah.
40 to 50 weddings a year.
Yeah.
And there is a step-by-step process so the first time, obviously it's a lot of observation. By the last time, they are pretty much doing everything except what they hired the DJ specifically to do.
Yeah.
So they're doing all of the setup. They are taking some time during open dancing and actually working with the crowd, see how that feels. They've
Right.
done it several times beforehand, but
Yeah.
each step of the way they get a little more into it. That way they are familiar with our systems
Right.
and mainly our expectations
Yeah.
for what we deliver at each wedding.
So they're doing the talking and all that stuff.
Yes,
By
they're
the
gonna- by the end they do. And obviously, if it's something where they expect the DJ that they hired to be doing that, we're not going to let the trainee do anything of that nature. But there are other announcements that can be made, moving from cocktail reception, making
Right,
those
yeah.
little announcements.
the
that kind of-
shuttle's coming.
Yeah, the shuttle is coming.
But we'll
That-
still handle introductions and
Right.
the special dances.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So we spend about 100 to 120 hours with a DJ before we
let them
formally
loose.
hire them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then even from there, it's still going to be 6 to 12 months before they work a wedding because of
Right.
just how long people book
Oh,
weddings
wow.
in advance. So it usually takes somebody 6 months to a year, and that whole time they're also doing non-wedding events and getting some birthday parties and restaurant events and summer, like we do Reston Town Center summer block parties. Like they're getting a lot of opportunities, and we're teaching them all the things that we had to learn the hard way and the long way. And then we have other folks that have pursued DJing and have already mastered the craft and want to get into weddings with us. And so we have affiliate DJs who might DJ on their own sometimes, but carry quite a big load from us. And I would say our average full-time DJ, like he said, does between 40 and 50, and then the rest of our team does about 20 each a year, which is more than I was doing even when I went full-time
Wow.
originally.
And are you guys offering like other services as well, or it's just like DJing kind of stuff?
DJing, also, like you said, the photo booths, the 360 booths. We also have a lot of lighting packages, so up lighting, bistro lighting.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if you want to basically transform an area, we can do that. It's all portable. We can set it up. And then we also, like I mentioned earlier, have gotten into the corporate we call them presenter packages. So, you know, if you're having a symposium, a training, something of that nature, we can bring in some projectors, screens, microphones, audio, and just basically make it so the presenting just goes easy. Set up a stage.
We've done whole conferences.
We've done
breakout rooms.
Yeah, 2-day conferences, things of that nature for it.
Are you coaching the person on like this is how you should present it, or you're not helping with their speech?
We try.
We honestly, part of it is just kind of just get the people sometimes for these brilliant people who have these amazing ideas, technology is like overwhelming to them, but just making it like, hey, you're going to do fine, just talk. We've got everything else. You don't have to worry about anything else.
Right, yeah.
And you always have to do tests, right? A lot of what people don't see is like the behind the scenes. You know, if you have a wedding at 4:00, I'm going to be there 1 or 1:30 to make sure I'm good to go for ceremony. Now, it doesn't take me 3 hours to set up, but that gives me the if time, you know, if this happens, if that happens, you've got time to field it. Maybe I don't have the right chord or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And then we also provide bartending packages with Connor, the Irish bartender, and we do wine tastings, whiskey tastings, and other tasting experiences where he gets to curate the drinks with you, and there's a mixology class and make your favorite cocktail training. So that's on our website under bar services, and we'll do weddings and parties and receptions all the time. We also have a new project. We're working on a 1968 Ford Bronco that we're going to turn into a getaway vehicle. So at the end of a wedding, they can drive off in it.
Oh, wow.
Photographers can use it for engagement sessions. And at a certain point, when it's all done and polished, we'll even be renting it out for day drives and things like that. So we're excited about the Bronco. It'll match well with our 1965 Air Chief camper that we converted into a photo booth and kind of boho lounge. We partner with Eternally Yours Photo and Video through Hustle Productions, which you are familiar with.
Yeah.
So Matt and Artie are in charge of that. We also provide, like Chris mentioned earlier, a catalog of live music, including strings and cover bands. Jason Labrador is our live music director, and we did dozens of weddings with strings last year. I think they did over 40 something live music events.
Yeah.
We offer quite a wide catalog, but our intention here is that we are there to elevate experiences. We want to take the worry and the stress out of your event so that you can be present and make those memories that you've just invested in. The worst thing we hear all the time from folks is, you know, they put together this gala or this wedding or this birthday and they go, I was so busy running around, I don't remember any of it. And so we really want to make sure that our guests and our clients are engaged in the experience, that they're enjoying the experience, that they're walking away with memories, some tangible, like a photo booth photo. We have really seen a resurgence of that, of people living in a digital world wanting to have a memento that actually lives in a jewelry box and is there in years. So we try to bring those experiences to folks, and so we're open to new ideas all the time. We're always pushing ourselves. We tried to do a magazine box for a year. We decided it wasn't really worth it. We were glad we did it. It was cool, but there are things that we have found work and some things we found don't.
And a lot of the things that we get involved in is just, Ben has said this all the time, is just simply because somebody asks, you know,
Right.
you
Yeah.
think you could do this? Like, yeah. Or, hey, you guys should get involved in this. Yeah, why not?
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I think it's a curse and a blessing that we don't say no a lot.
Right.
Yeah, we say yes as much as we can. We work with dozens of nonprofits. We gave away over $100,000 in discounted and free events last year.
Wow.
Whether it was performing or giving away a photo booth that we later would provide as a raffle prize. And then we've partnered with organizations. I mean, there's too many to list, but like Clark County Education Fund, we have been working with them on their gala for years, and they raised $70,000 a couple weeks ago
Yep.
at an event that we were able to support with audio and projectors and entertainment. And we had
Yeah.
an amazing dance party. I mean, people go to these fundraising dinners,
Yeah.
you know, all the time.
Right, yeah.
It's fun that at least at ours there's a party after.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so when you hire us, at least you'll know there'll be.
Right,
And those
yeah.
people are coming back every year now. We've been doing the gala for 4 or 5 years, and now it's like an expectation. They've even
Right.
extended it
Yeah.
an hour later for
Yeah.
more dancing than the event used to go to.
Do you ever look back at all this and you're just like, how in the world did I get here?
All the time.
Every day.
I mean,
A
'cause
lot.
you guys have really evolved over the years.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I think about for I don't know how much you know, but like I grew up here, and my dad became severely disabled through kind of the Sackler family involvement with the opioid crisis, and our life kind of spiraled for a while, and we ended up living quite impoverished here in Winchester, and I was identified early on as both ADHD but gifted, and the Winchester City school system was so important to getting me through adolescence and childhood, and my family, my extended family was huge. My grandma was like my third parent, and I was afforded a lot of opportunities, and that pushed me and made me really want to not stay where I was. Living in poverty is not great, and my parents didn't love it, and they did everything they could to slowly work their way out. But he was disabled, and so they supported me in my grandiose dreams and visions, and allowed me to pursue theater and art and music, despite that it might not look quite right on a budget sheet for
Right.
long-term success. But I just kept saying yes and yes, and there's a rule of improv, yes and so I just would always say yes and like, what can I do beyond that? What can I do next? What can I add to that? How can I make that work? And the goal was just to never go back. Like I didn't want to live in an apartment with cockroaches again, and so
Right.
And live on food stamps and all of that. So to see where we are now, and I am resisting saying it in front of Chris, but it is wild to me that I am able to be a part of a team that we are providing other people with a full-time income and
Right.
allowing them to have a job they like and enjoy being a part of the best part of people's lives and days, and get paid to do it enough that you don't have to have a second job is amazing.
Right, yeah.
And so, yeah, sometimes I sit on my front porch and I think this is amazing. But sometimes I think about your front porch and Corey's front porch and Brandon's front porch, and like that they also get to be a part of this and make a real living.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's pretty amazing what you guys have done. So I see you guys everywhere on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, what you've done is amazing. And thanks for coming on today, sharing
Yeah.
your story. If
Thanks for having us.
yeah, definitely. If somebody wants to hire you guys, what do they do? Do they go to your website? Do they call you?
Yeah, you can go to www.summiteventsco.com, go to the contact page, and you'll get in touch with Chris real quick.
Yep. And then schedule a call, however it works. And thank you for having us on.
Yeah.
You can also message us on Instagram. It's @SummitEventsCo.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
Yep.